Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Mama June Jessica Shannon does disgusting act with animal. Mama June fans are losing their minds after seeing Jessica Chubbs Shannon engaging in a disgusting act with an animal. She has truly grown into herself, taking care of her nieces and nephews. Yet, there was a time when she was the absolute wild one and clearly got it from her mama. So what did she do that was so repulsive? Keep reading for more details. Mama June Jessica Shannon does disgusting act with animal. Jessica Chubbs Shannon has evolved as she has gotten older. She moved in with Josh and Pumpkin fired, but with that, she helped to raise their children. They all felt scammed by Mama June, but Jessica lost the title of her car to their mother's addiction. Eventually, she was able to move out of Pumpkin and Josh's home and start a new life. She claimed that she was living with a female named Shannon McCant, but it turned out that was her girlfriend. Jessica came out to her family, and they were very supportive of her lifestyle. Before Josh and Pumpkin split, Jessica was going to ask her brother-in-law to be a donor so she and Shannon could start a family. Shannon is ready to get married and settle down, but Jessica needs more time. Of course, this last year and a half have been extremely hard with Anna Cardwell going through stage 4 adrenal carcinoma. Then she passed in December 2023, and it rocked their world. Now, a video has resurfaced of Jessica and it paints her in a horrible light. She is seen making out with a giraffe and is not for the faint of heart. This was from the Here Comes Honey Boo Boo days, and she was having a good time, but followers on Reddit were repulsed. I almost threw up watching that, especially Jessica, all that drool. Ain't nobody that thought Chubbs is normal, she might be the worst. This is disrespectful to the animal and borderlines sexual abuse. I actually became sick to my stomach. Too much. There was a marathon that had been playing and fans pointed out disturbing things Pumpkin had done that were just as bad as Jessica Shannon. She was apparently biting up the hot dogs into bits before cooking them and more. For me, it's the camping episode where Jessica and Pumpkin are cooking the multi-meal for the family and Pumpkin is biting the hot dogs into chunks and spitting them into the pot. Dead, Pumpkin is gross. Did you happen to catch any of the Honey Boo Boo episodes they played on TLC last night? There was one where they went camping and she took some sort of bottle with a hose and was pissing in it, and then left it stuck to the sign at the campsite when they left. Pure trash. So it looks like they were all giving viewers the ick, but one thing that was noted was how Jessica was a kid. Mama June should have been paying more attention to their awful habits. Yet she was just as unsanitary and crude, so at least Jessica grew into a decent woman. The hot Georgia sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden glow over the rural landscape. The small, sleepy town of McIntyre was as quiet as ever, with the occasional rustle of leaves or distant bark of a dog breaking the silence. But at the Shannon family's modest home, things were anything but tranquil. Jessica Shannon, affectionately known as Chubbs by her family, had always been the more reserved one compared to her sisters. While her mother, Mama June, and her sister, Honey Boo Boo, were used to the spotlight, Jessica preferred a quieter life, away from the cameras and the chaos that came with reality TV fame. But on this sweltering afternoon, Jessica was about to do something that would shock not only her family but the entire town. It all started innocently enough. Jessica had been spending more time on the family's small farm, a patch of land they used to grow vegetables and raise a few chickens. It was her way of finding peace amidst the drama that often surrounded the Shannons. On this particular day, she decided to check on the animals, making sure they were fed and comfortable. But what began as a routine chore quickly took a bizarre turn. As Jessica approached the chicken coop, she noticed something odd. One of the chickens, a plump, feisty hen named Gertrude, was behaving unusually. The bird was squawking loudly and flapping her wings as if in distress. Jessica's brow furrowed in concern as she stepped closer to investigate. It was then that she noticed a small snake slithering around the coop, clearly the cause of Gertrude's agitation. Without hesitation, Jessica grabbed a nearby stick and managed to shoo the snake away. But as she turned to leave, Gertrude did something unexpected. The hen, perhaps in a fit of post-adrenaline relief, flapped her wings wildly and knocked over a nearby bucket. The bucket, which had been sitting on the edge of the coop, tipped over and sent its contents, a mixture of feed and water, spilling all over the ground and all over Jessica. Jessica stood there, drenched and covered in a slimy mixture of chicken feed, water, and dirt. She could feel the muck seeping through her clothes, sticking to her skin. But instead of recoiling in disgust, something strange happened. Jessica started to laugh. A deep, hearty laugh that she hadn't felt in months. It was as if the absurdity of the situation had finally broken through the layers of stress and tension she had been carrying. Still chuckling, Jessica bent down and scooped up a handful of the feed mixture. She looked at it for a moment, the gooey substance dripping through her fingers. Then, in a moment of pure, unfiltered impulsiveness, she smeared it across her face. The cool, slimy texture was surprisingly soothing against her sunburned skin. Before she knew it, she was rubbing more of the mixture onto her arms, her neck, and even her hair. The animals watched in curious silence as Jessica continued her strange ritual. Gertrude, who had calmed down after the snake scare, tilted her head as if trying to understand what was happening. Jessica, now fully immersed in the moment, picked up Gertrude and held her close. The hen didn't resist, perhaps sensing that Jessica meant no harm. With a mischievous grin, Jessica took a deep breath and planted a big, wet kiss right on Gertrude's feathery head. The hen squawked in surprise, but Jessica only laughed harder. It was a ridiculous, messy, and utterly disgusting act, but in that moment it felt like exactly what she needed. For years, Jessica had felt overshadowed by her family's larger-than-life personalities. Mama June's dramatic weight loss journey, Honey Boo Boo's rise to fame, and the countless scandals that followed them. It all left Jessica feeling like she was fading into the background. But here, covered in chicken feed and sharing a bizarre, intimate moment with a hen, she felt more alive than she had in a long time. Of course, the moment didn't last forever. The sound of a car pulling up to the house snapped Jessica out of her reverie. She looked up to see her sister, Pumpkin, stepping out of the car with a puzzled expression on her face. Pumpkin had seen her sister do some weird things over the years, but this was something else. "What in the world are you doing, Chubbs?" Pumpkin asked, trying to suppress a laugh. Jessica, still holding Gertrude, shrugged nonchalantly. "Just bonding with the animals," she replied, as if her behavior was the most natural thing in the world. Pumpkin shook her head, unable to keep a straight face any longer. "You're crazy, you know that." "Maybe," Jessica admitted, setting Gertrude back down, "but it feels good to be a little crazy sometimes." The two sisters stood there for a moment, the absurdity of the situation settling in, and then, without warning, Pumpkin grabbed a handful of the feed mixture from the ground and tossed it at Jessica. The slimy substance splattered across Jessica's chest, and for a split second, she was stunned. But then she grinned and lunged at Pumpkin, smearing the muck onto her sister's arms. What followed was a full-blown feed fight, with the two sisters laughing and shrieking as they chased each other around the yard, flinging handfuls of the slimy mixture at each other. By the time they were done, they were both covered from head to toe in the gooey mess, their clothes soaked and their hair matted. As they collapsed onto the grass, breathless and giggling, Jessica felt a sense of relief wash over her. For the first time in a long while, she wasn't worrying about the future, about her family's drama, or about what people thought of her. In that moment, all that mattered was the laughter she shared with her sister and the ridiculous, messy fun they had together. It was a disgusting act, to be sure, but for Jessica Shannon, it was exactly what she needed.